if what they have in common is sort of just this general reset and this general being different from everyday normal experience, how do we start to tie that to the question that everyone's interested in right now, and different people are pursuing in different ways, of whether or not you can engineer out the sort of subjective psychedelic experience from these drugs and still have the therapeutic potential that we're seeing?
Yeah. So my intuition on that last part is that no, we won't be able to engineer out the psychedelic effect. And that's partially based on that proportionality experiment that I described. In other words, as you shorten the duration of the effect, you shorten the ability to reopen the critical period. And if reopening critical periods is the thing, right, that is responsible for these, not just I think people are excited about psychedelics because they are not just next generation SSRIs or next generation anxiolytics. They're not exciting because, we're going to have to take them for life and, medicalize people and treat their symptoms. Rather, people are excited because this could be a cure. You take it maybe one or two times, maybe five times if it's a really entrenched, memory that needs a lot of work to be resolved. But then you're cured. You don't have to take them again, and you don't have to be on them forever, and that excitement is that, we could have a neuropsychiatric cure that's similar to, say, putting in a new valve if you have a heart problem, right? Like a sort of surgical, you're cured after this intervention. And I think that all of the effort to engineer out the psychedelic quote unquote side effect is really, following the old fashioned, big pharma model of, we're looking for symptom treatment. And I think for me, as an MD, I can't say that is particularly exciting. I'm really excited about these as, the surgical type of model of we're going to cure people of their diseases. Getting back to your more philosophical question about, maybe what's common to these things is just that they're inducing such a radical shift in your perception of the world that's really the only thing that's common to them, and that's somehow triggering critical period reopening. And I think that that's maybe right. I actually think that if we think about what it is, why it is that we have critical periods, right? And why it is they close, and then why it is that a brain might want to have a ready-made mechanism for reopening them. We can sort of think about the fact that, critical periods exist because there aren't enough genes to encode all of the things we might need to learn in the world, right? Like there aren't enough genes to encode 250 different languages. So instead we have genes that encode the ability to learn 250 different languages, and you learn the one that's relevant to the environment that you are born in, right? So that ability to learn from your environment is why we have critical periods. But then, all that sort of flexible learning and being sensitive to the world and being hyper aware of what's in your environment, it's exhausting. Emotionally, It's exhausting. I mean, who wants to be a teenager again where you have to care about the exact right shade of acid wash jeans you're going to wear, right? It sucks. It's hard. It's training. It distracts you from being able to focus on other things.